All right, welcome back. Now, historian Kwekudako Ankra is back with us again, and we're going to get right into it. The key elections of the 1950s. This is pre-independence. Kweku.
Yeah.
Yes, we're back again.
Yes.
So this time around, we're looking at elections, and particular elections that took place preceding our independence.
Yeah, very critical.
Walk us through.
Yeah, so in our journey to independence, certain developments occurred. So in 1946, we have dealt with the issues of protest nationalist movements.
Yeah.
So events occurred. In 1946, Alam Ban's constitution came into effect. And for the first time, Ashanti, which was then administered as a separate territory or a protectorate or a territory, was made to become part of the Gold Coast. So in 1946, this constitution allowed Ashanti to now get their elected members to be represented in the Gold Coast Legislative Council.
Okay.
So politically, Ashanti became part of the Gold Coast tentatively in 1946 as a result of the Alambans Constitution. However, the Constitution did not incorporate the Northern Territories, which make it different. And then as it went on, the World War had come and gone, and there were a certain agitation. So the veterans who were demanding for the better working conditions as they have been promised by the government went on their protest, and the effect was that General Emre shot, and then 3 of the ex-servicemen died. This led to agitation. At the same time, Nico Bonaboni had also engaged in his boycott of European goods when he demanded that the idea of selling things at exorbitant price by the West African Association of Merchants, AWAM, was also having a telling effect of the people. And so in his politics of consumerism, which is something now missing in Ghanaian politics and the Ghanaian psyche, he alone led one-man protestation, which led to the massive boycott of European goods across the country and the effect of the positive action that came out of it. So we can say that Ghana's rush into radical nationalism, the precursor came from the activities of Nico Bonaboni via his boycotting of European goods, which in effect led many people went into it, leading to the positive action and the riot that took place. And as a result, a vacuum was created for a political leader to emerge. In 1948 was also the day, for the first time in August 1948, a political party was founded at Salt Pond, United Gold Coast Convention, by a group of leaders who had been well stuck in the politics of the Gold Coast for a long time, like J.B. Dankwa, Francis Awono Williams, Pa Grant, Tyson Quest, Obeje Bilamte, Edward Akufo-Addo, and several others. On the day the party was founded in South Pond, J.W. de Graaf Johnson became the general secretary. And in his letter from some of the members in the diaspora, he read one letter from Francis Enria Nkrumah, who is Kwame Nkrumah. And he told the gathering that Nkrumah sent his felicitation as a member in the diaspora to this gathering, wishing that this party will kickstart the beginning of Ghana's fight towards independence. This could be found in the Gold Coast Spectator of the time in 1948. This shows you that Nkrumah at that time was actively involved in Gold Coast politics from his base in London. Okay. So the party was founded with the motto of independence within the shortest possible time. And this did not really augur well to some of the members even at the meeting. So a lady asked de Graaf Johnson, what do you mean by independence within shortest possible time? And de Graaf Johnson explained that if Ghanaians participate effectively in the activities of the UGCC, even the independence can be achieved within 5 years. But if they are lackadaisical in the attitude towards the fight, it can take 10 years, 15 years before they can achieve their aim. Serious political organizer who have a track record of organizing political protests and actions in the United States and in Britain. So when he came on to become the General Secretary, he immediately went into action from the CYO, and then which is
was
the
what? Yeah.
Committee of Youth Organization,
Okay.
and brought in active young guys like Victor Wusu, Joe Apia, Krobobisei, and Araram Ponsa, this young Ashanti Tex into the political party, with Asafaje and all the others also then involved. Then, over a time, the issue of the positive action came in, and then the committee, Watson Commission, was brought in. When the Watson Commission went into their enquiries, Nkrumah came out as someone, some people say he was betrayed, that he had a communist allegiance, and as a result, he is not the right person to lead the party. And then UGCC, as a ultra-conservative party, did not want to be associated with communists. At that time, when you were a communist, you were like a social leper. You were not allowed to become part of the people. And such a pariah was not being allowed to become part of the UGCC. So in disagreement, Nkrumah left, and he also went to Sopon to found his Convention People's Party, but with the motto of self-government now. And this motto appealed to the youth. So most of the youth that they are starting with the CYO in the UGCC, all of them cross-carpeted to the CPP. And the CPP became a party of the young groups. And every ordinary member, because of Nkrumah's organization, the grassroots were all at home in the CPP. And then the conservatism of the UGCC made it become a party of the elite in the society. It is within this that people started to attack Watson Commission report, that it was not enough. And from what has happened, there is the need to organize elections. And so then in came Kuse constitutional reforms of 1948. And Kuse came out the proper guidelines, and within some of his recommendations is that the Northern Territories must also be allowed to be part of the Gold Coast elections.
Okay.
In this regard, the argument was that the people of the Northern Territory does not have experience of party politics, as it has happened in the Southern Gold Coast. So for them, they will come representing their own constituency without any form of a political party. So they also have their Northern political party group, both the MPP there, but they were representing their constituency in name. While the Southern have three political parties at the time. The three political parties were Convention's People's Party, United Gold Coast Convention, and the New Democratic Party. So per the tenure of the Kuse constitutional reform, election was to be organized in 1951. And that first election towards independence was organized. In that election, Nkrumah was leading the CPP, Dr. Dankwa was leading the UGCC, and then Dr. William Nanka Bruce was also, that's FW Nanka Bruce's son, was also leading the New Democratic Party. And then they went into the election, and then CPP won the election in 1951. Thus, upon entering the parliament, Nkrumah became the leader of government business and the prime minister at the time.
In 1951.
In 1951-52 elections. And then E.C. Quest was elected as the speaker of that legislative assembly. At that legislative council has been changed to legislative assembly at that time. So that was the order that the first election was run. This election was run using the newspapers. And the CPP had its own newspaper, Accra Evening News, which was very effective, that he was using. While the UGCC also had Ashanti Pania, who was there. Of course, Nkrumah had other newspapers, and he has a young text who were going to all the villages and what have you. So he turned the opposition very well, and he had it was a landslide victory in 1951 elections.
All right, welcome back from that break. Now, very interesting conversation. We've come up to 1951 elections, and Kwame Nkrumah has won. We're going to go and look at what happens before we get into the 1954 elections. All right, so quick.
So Nkrumah having won the 1951 and becoming the prime minister from 52 going to 54, in that intervals, there was the need for election. And at that time, the governor was still there, because we have not achieved the independence yet. So we were running the Westminster system.
Yes.
Where the prime minister is the leader of government business.
Yes.
With the governor as a ceremonial head. So in this order, Nkrumah ruled for the 8 years, coming out with a lot of policies in terms of education, his ideas on what to do in the near future with regard to industrialization. And this appealed to the masses. However, within the rank of the opposition, particularly UGCC, there was a serious implosion. So the party divided into three, the UGCC, after Dankwa lost the election.
Yeah.
So when he lost this election, and the party divided into three, one was Ghana National Party, which was headed by Ubeche Bilampte.
Okay.
One was led by an Equapian man, Dr. Kumi Ansakwei, which was Ghana Action Party.
Okay.
Then the other was led by Professor K.A. Buzia, which is Ghana Congress Party.
Okay.
They went to these elections in 1954, and J.B. Dankwa even lost his constituency seat at Begro to Egonoforiata, his cousin.
Okay.
Many heavyweights in the UGCC lost the elections, and then the CPP emerged again as the most powerful party in that election. In that election, there were also some other parties that came into the scene. There was a white man who formed his own party contesting the elections in Ghana.
Really?
Putting the name. And promising free feeding for students in secondary school.
Oh, I see.
And everything, free combi for afternoon and so on. This
Wait, hold on. So school feeding plan it had come before.
Oh,
promises for free.
That was then you had how do you call it? The Muslims in Ghana also founded a party called Muslim Association Party.
Okay.
But Elijah Medu and Baba Lami and other people founded that party in Kumasi. And because they needed a very highly educated person, they went for Kwekuba Nkole Awono Rena from Elmina. For him to become accepted into the party, he have to proselytize to become a Muslim.
A Muslim.
So he took a Muslim name, he became Mustafa Awono Rena, and used it to run the election. The CPP, whenever they see him, they call him Alaji Banza because he's not a Muslim.
So that's where it comes from.
You see?
Okay.
And so on. And he was heading the Muslim Association Party. And then in Anwula too, there was Anwula Youth Association Party led by Modesto Apalu, who was also running. In Wasa, Kwedu also have Wasa Youth League, and so on. And all these people contested in the 54 elections, and still CPP won heavily again and represented in the parliament.
I'm just curious, what do you think it was that was stirring up the excitement of all these various youth movements wanting to become political parties and contenders?
Yeah, because we are getting to a new country, so people were apprehensive. Mind you, some of the chiefs were arguing for bicameral legislation, that we should have a legislation where the chiefs will become a kind of, how do you call it, the House of Lords and the House of Commons. That was what they were clamoring for. So you see that the 51, some of them even went to election. The interesting thing in the 51 elections that took place was that you could even give your seat to somebody if you don't want to. So Buzia, for instance, lost his seat in Wenchi, and Dr. Isaac Asafajay in Kumasi gave his seat to Buzia to enter the parliament. So in one of the parliamentary debates in 52, Kobwedu say, when Buzia was attacking Kobwedu say for not being good grammatically and highly educated, Kobwedu say also short back that it is interesting that people who entered this house through the back door will have the audacity to challenge some of us. You see that if you read the parliamentary Hansard of the period, you will enjoy.
Wow.
And these were people who do the kind of politics, despite their differences, in brotherly, lovely manner, with common interest that they want this country to progress at the time.
Yeah.
So in the 54 elections too, the interest from the most of this youth group is that we are now getting to a country called Ghana. How do we achieve that by representing our people if our people are not represented in the major political parties?
Yeah.
And this is the reason why these youth organizations came into being, so that if they elect their own will represent them in parliament instead of them not having a say in the main government. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
So that is what happened. And then Modesto, for instance, got elected. Kwedu got elected into the parliament of 1954.
That's 1954. Yeah. Okay, so then moving on. We go to 1950. Okay, so the development. Yes.
The agenda for independence has been stated. 57. We're going to have independence. But the critical question came: the role, whether we want to go in as a federal state or as a unitary state. And that agitation had come from Ashanti.
Okay.
Where they believe that the CPP does not represent their interests, particularly with regard to cocoa pricing that came, that they were losers after the way cocoa price has been waged. So the whole agenda for NLM, or the National Liberation Movement, started with agitation of the cocoa pricing that took place. In addition was also the issue of whether the independent country that we are looking for would be run as a unitary state or federal state. The Ashantis and other chiefs on the Gold Coast then believed in the bicameral legislation. They believed that it is the best form. For Ashanti, they want it better because they can use their own finances to take care of themselves, just like you see it in a state that is composed of semi-autonomous state like Nigeria, where every state uses its own resources for its development, instead of central government taking all the resources and allocating it so-called uniformly to other branches, which is what we are doing. They wanted the federal form of system, where there is one central government but with semi-autonomous states running their own system of governance. And this thing went into political debate, so that when we want to go into elections, then it must be put on into a election ballot. Are you getting the point? So in 56 election, new parties emerged, because all the other parties that ran in 54, I'm talking about UGCC, which was splintered. Then in Ashanti, a movement has occurred, led by Bafo Say Akoto, the chief linguist of the Ashanti. He mobilized the people and then gathered to form the National Liberation Movement, which was inaugurated under the mouth of Subin River in Kumasi.
Okay.
A goat was slaughtered to show the initiation of the time, and that place was a very important landmark. The Subin area, which shows the coming of the Ashanti group into the area to dominate during the time when Doma was at Sontreso. So the landmarking, as well as Tafu on the top, that landmark thing that occurred was very critical for the movement. And this was able to galvanize most of the Ashanti youth to be part of the National Liberation Movement. So over the time, because the UGCC has been fragmented and they don't have any unified force, Buzia then came in and started writing about NLM and its contributions. So if Bafo Akoto was the one who sowed the seed of the NLM, Buzia then bring the intellectual aspect of the NLM. That's the party which was first seen as an ethnic party or ethnocentric party, then became a national party when other members from Cape Coast, like the late what's the name, Ampansadazi, taking over. You have in Sekendi Takrati Sakiseks and others all coming in, gave the party a national
color.
ambrage. And they also formed alliances with northern the Northern People's Party, MPP from the north, they also formed some of alliances. The alliances over the years, we see the leader of the Northern People's Party, Dorina Simon Dombo.
Yeah.
Also, you see him marrying the daughter of a sister of Osiakoto and so on, in that order. So there was this reaction, and the NLM.
So it wasn't just political; it was even cemented by getting into intermarriages and everything.
Intermarriages and certain bonds, that kind of thing. So in the 56th election, they entered this election, which was the elections which was also riddled with a lot of violence, the killings, which was also taking place because CPP and the NLM don't see eyeball to eyeball. For the first time, they formed the party tax. Tax for the first time because the CPP have the action troopers, the NLM have the action groupers. And whenever they meet...
So even pre-independence, all of this was already happening.
It was serious. So in Kumasi, a CPP member, NLM member, Eric Bafu, who is well known as an activist, was stabbed by CPP propaganda secretary, Chumesi Ankra, to death in Kumasi. So this also shows you the kind of political agitation and sort of thuggery and vandalism that characterized the 1956, because it was a very important election for independence. At the end of the day, Nkrumah won the election. But then there was one issue, the issue of the decision of the Transvaal Togoland.
Okay.
Where they should be, because British has administered it as its protectorate.
Yes. So
Nkrumah then had a very serious decision to make as where they will be. So what happens was that he called on the UN General Assembly to come and intervene in the situation, and they decided that the people must be given an option of getting election to see whether they will be on their own or they want to join the Gold Coast.
Okay.
So that was the decision. Okay. So they brought Espinazo Y Prieto as a commission to come in and organize the election for these people. So the election was organized. Many people often think when we talk of the former Transvaal Togoland, it is about the Ewe people. Transvaal Togoland then started from Ho side. That is why all the secessionist agitation has emanated from there.
That side, yeah.
So from the Ho side, all the way through Buem, the Akan people, what we now call the Oti region.
The Oti region,
It was passed through Buem, through Katekrachi, all the way through the Inchumuru areas, some part of Nauri, some part of Gonja, Mamprisi, and then Konkomba, some part all the way to Boku.
All of that front part of
all of that part was Transvaal Togoland.
Okay.
So this election was organized, and in the organization of the election, all the people from the Oti area, all the way to the north, voted massively for yes to join Ghana. Okay. While the others from below the Oti region all the way to Ho voted massively not to join.
Okay.
You get the point. Okay. But because majority in democracy is based on majoritarian rule, and once the majority have voted, they were supposed to join Ghana. So they joined Ghana in 6 March 1956. Okay. Ghana became independent. And this is why it is critical. People often make a mistake and then they tell people from the Volta region.
So that election for
the plebiscite,
Togoland, that election took place which year?
In 56.
In 56.
It took place.
And that's what led us to now form Ghana.
Ghana independence. So that is why it is wrong when sometimes people say every person is number 9 and he was not part of Ghana. There was no Ghana until 6 March 1956. Okay. And the elections was held in the Transvaal Togoland area in 56. So by 57, all of us became Ghanaians, including the people
on the
from
same day. Everybody
became part of it. Yeah. And that is critical.
Yeah.
So this is a way that we can see ourselves as the same people.
Yeah.
It is not even only the people from transported to Ghana. The Constitution itself says that anybody living in the Ghana at the time of Ghana's independence automatically becomes a Ghanaian.
Thank you very much. And with that, we wrap up the conversation for today on the Heritage Month On Air series. Big thank you to historian Kweku Dako Ankra, and big thank you to you for watching. Big thank you to Miss Cookie Spices for sponsoring the Heritage Month On Air series. Remember, no peeling, no blending, just scoop and cook. My name is David Kweku Seche. Big thank you also to Nalem Clothing for this beautiful kaftan that I'm wearing here. See you next time on the Heritage Month On Air series.
Ago.